Welcome back to the garage. This video will be a little bit different than the ones I've put out in the past. I've had a couple subscribers of mine ask me to go over this old rollback truck that I've got, so let me show you around. This is my 1980 Ford f-700. Now at the time, this was the heaviest truck that you could get with a single axle and hydraulic brakes. And what makes this good is the implement bed that is on the rear. Now this is a rollback. I would consider a rollback. I would call it a rollback, but the technical term for this would be an implement bed, as this truck was actually for hauling equipment on, tractors, small dozers, equipment like that. Now this is a 21-foot Schwartz bed. Now Schwartz I don't believe is in production anymore, but this was probably one of the better ones that you could get. It's got a wood floor, it's a 21-foot deck like I said, and it has a 2-foot hydraulic dovetail that you can actually affix in the position like it is to make a 23-foot bed. So you can actually run something out 23 foot on here and leave this up. It does have a lock on it where you can keep it up without worrying about the hydraulics bleeding off for it. But this truck I've had for a little over 2 years now. Do I love it? Pretty close to. There's a few things that I do not like about the truck, which I will go over. But for the most part, this is hands down one of the handiest things that I have ever owned. Now, I've looked for one of these for quite a while before I bought this truck. I mean, my channel suggests that I'm a Dodge guy, and I am, but I do also like Fords. I passed up on a couple different Chevrolets. I'm not really a big fan of any kind of Chevy stuff, unless it's like a little S10. They're actually really good trucks, easy to work on. But I ran across this truck and I bought it for the fact that it's this old square cab Ford. And let me show you the interior. It's not too bad, to be expected for something that's older. As you can see, I mean, the floor mat's dirty, but this old truck is really not in too bad a shape. Now under the hood for a power plant is the notorious 8.2 Detroit. Now this is a GM engine, which is factory option for Fords and Chevys, which is kind of weird. You would think that Ford would have had their own for back in the day, which they did. They had what they call the Brazil Cummins. But this engine is what's called a fuel pincher. Now if you were to get a truck like this, let's say an 80s model Ford just like mine, with the V8 in it, you're probably looking at getting about 4 to 6 miles to a gallon, especially if you're loaded. But this truck, believe it or not, gets about 12 to 13, and it's actually pretty nice to not have to worry about stopping at every single gas station along the way. The power, it's reliable in my opinion, but the power is just not there. I mean, I've hauled some dozers and stuff on this, some small dozers, and when you get it loaded down, it's definitely not the quickest thing in the world, but it's never failed to start on me or anything like that, so I'm very impressed with it on that regard. This truck was actually born with a non-turbo 8.2 Detroit, but the previous owner that I got this truck from, they ended up wearing that old engine out and they put this one in, which if you can see back there, they kind of snaked the turbo. This has an 8.2 turbo Detroit in it now, which are a little bit better than the naturally aspirated. Here's the winch. The only thing that I can guess about this winch is that it's a 15,000 pound winch. It works pretty slow. I think this truck's supposed to have kind of a high idle feature to where it'll idle the engine up more to where this bed will roll back and the winch will work at a little bit faster pace, but I don't have that on this truck. I think somebody, when they put that other engine in it, kind of left that off of there. But you can see that. And another thing about these heavier duty rollbacks is a lot of them have a foot like that goes down, that keeps this bed straight from flexing in the middle if you're loading something heavy on it. Now you can see that the bed's not touching the ground. This thing is actually rolled back as far as I can get it. It does touch the ground. I've got it in about the worst spot that I possibly could to do a video on it, which was a smart idea on my end. But right about past this foot, The ground dips down pretty bad, goes down a hill, but I don't know if the GoPro's picking that up very well. But that foot is supposed to keep the bed straight, so whenever you get a lot of weight up on here, it doesn't bow. Now, a lot of your just regular rollback trucks don't have this, and I have seen beds that bow. Usually they're aluminum, like Jordan, and it's nothing about the quality of the bed, but a person really can drag something heavier on here that's not supposed to be. Now, as you can see, Schwartz platform. They made a lot of really good beds back in the day, but I think over the last couple of years they went out of business completely. See the other tag down there. I tried researching the bed to see what the actual weight limits are. That's the biggest drawback whenever I bought this truck. This truck was definitely not from just one owner. I mean, it had been passed through a couple different hands, and there weren't any kind of brochures or anything, or any kind of paperwork that stated how heavy this bed is and what the actual weight limit of it is. A lot of your just regular rollbacks, especially the aluminum ones like Jordan beds, I mean 10,000 pounds pretty much the max of what you should haul on it. This bed, I have actually had close to 20,000 pounds on it. The truck definitely felt it. I mean, it didn't tear anything up. It squatted the truck down, not really bad, but I did haul a TD6 International dozer on here, which was probably 14,000 pounds, maybe a little heavier than that. But this truck I do really like. The three major drawbacks of this truck that I'm not too happy about. The first one is this thing has hydraulic brakes on it. Now, if you drove anything, any kind of equipment, any truck like that with air brakes, you'll realize within about the first 5 minutes that hydraulic brakes are definitely inferior. I mean, this truck's got just a regular handbrake for an emergency brake, and as you can see with the block behind the tire, I don't really trust that. Good thing with air brakes, I'm sorry, is that you can set the brake and you don't have to worry about this thing rolling down the hill and taking off of you as long as everything's in adjustment. The second thing that I do not like about this old truck is that it's a single rear axle. Now, it definitely does good for what I haul around here, you know, pickups, small pieces of machinery like that. But if it had a tandem axle under it, that would pretty much double the carrying capacity. And the third problem about this truck is that, like I've stated before, I have no idea what the weight limit for the winch is, what the weight limit for the bed is. I mean, it would have been really nice to have gotten some kind of literature on the bed, just so that I would know what my maximum limit is. Like I said, this truck is definitely one of the handiest things that I have ever owned. Do I plan on keeping it forever? Maybe not. I really do like this truck, but over the last couple months I have considered maybe trying to find a tandem axle truck. Maybe something a little bit newer. Thank you very much for watching the video. It's a little bit different than the ones I've put out in the past. Hopefully you like that. Let me know in the comment section down below. I also bought some Central Oregon Shenanigans swag. This sticker's for my toolbox. This is the collaboration sticker between Central Oregon Shenanigans and the Fox Shop. So if you want to go pick one of those up, you can get them on Teespring. Got one on my welding helmet here and got one for the toolbox. I also picked up a shirt, and I was stupid enough to order a small shirt instead of a large one like the one that I need to wear. So I'll be going back there and buying another one on that. But thank you very much for watching the video. Leave a comment down below. Consider subscribing if this is the kind of content that you're into. And just a friendly reminder that it doesn't matter if you're working on your project in a garage or in your driveway. What matters is that you go out there, you do the job yourself, and you learn more about your project, whatever that project may be. My name is Zane, and I'll see you next time.